Cringe week is finally upon us. At the end of the week, we get Snow White, and then on Thursday, well, we're going to get the only other piece of media that is likely to come out in the next few months is even going to rival this a disaster, because, bro, this is, oh my, it is on track to be a train wreck, and I wouldn't be surprised if I'm not talking about this video, or I'm sorry, well, I guess this video, this movie, this piece of content for months and months on end, because, yeah, it's not shaping up to be good, and especially with the pre-launch promotional material, I find it very funny. Specifically what Walt Disney is deciding to promote with this one, where you have these very carefully curated events where you have the little white girl just walking up to Rachel Zegler to say, well, making sure that she looks so perfect. Oh, hey guys. Oh my god.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, that didn't look like put on, but at the beginning.
Oh my god. I love you. I love you so much. And you did so good in the movie. So much.
The fact that she needs to be reaffirmed by a kid, that's that is definitely one strategy that you can employ. And in the background, and especially of some of these other pictures, right, like with this, I don't even know what the hell that is, and thanks to terms of service, I can't quite properly elaborate the first couple of words that come to mind there. But Rachel's very much right there. Okay, out there in these meet and greets with a bunch of publicists in the backgrounds, and I'm not entirely sure, because wow, she really found a lot of white kids to surround herself with the upcoming Snow White film that she's out there promoting, making little necklaces. You got two white boys on one side and another, and a little girl all dressed up. It's funny how they're in the Disney princess dresses that actually look better than the dress in the movie itself. But you got her off doing that, and then you have Gal Gadot actually interacting with like real people that doesn't seem terribly staged, like, right? You could pull up example after example, and the incredibly hilarious stuff was definitely on that curated red carpet event where, you really had to do some digging in order to find any sort of pictures with both of them. But I mean, like this event, very interesting how they're going to go ahead and try to pass us off as being anything other than just a really staged cringe event. Like, oh yeah, look at how the people really like Rachel Zegler. It's not like they've been specifically picked in order to further a certain narrative about this film, but even when they are pictured together, it's I find it very funny, right? Like, you got this one picture, and that's about the only one that you can find, but both of them, they're staring straight forward. It's tough to even tell if like Rachel's got her arm around. I don't really think so. But everything about this movie looks to be a total disaster. Well, unless, of course, you're Variety, and now we're starting to see the spin that's out there. Snow White first reactions praise the film as a visual feast, and I'm sorry, we've seen the trailers. We've seen those CGI abomination dwarves, and bro, a visual feast? Yeah, the entire feast is rotten. And one of Disney's best live-action remakes in years. Well, that's not exactly a high bar. That's like people saying that Daredevil Born Again is one of the best MCU series ever. It's like there has never been a limbo bar so low. Disney's live-action Snow White remake has finally been unveiled at the movie's Hollywood premiere. Yeah, not a red carpet premiere, but a Hollywood premiere this time around. And first reactions are trickling in calling it a dazzling hit for The House of Mouse, which I thought, like, that's very interesting, right? Because as for the review embargo, because as we talked about at the tail end of last week, like the UK premiere got cancelled and the Hollywood premiere got severely scaled down. So the only people that were allowed to come in were like actually paid Disney shills. Like, I'm not even being hyperbolic. Like, the media wasn't allowed to come in unless, of course, they were specifically vetted by Disney, and there were no off-the-cuff questions to be asked to Gadot. I don't really know, because I don't need to pronounce her last name correctly because she can't pronounce the English language correctly, even though she's been over here for a couple of decades, so forgive me if I don't care that much. And of course, a hot mic in front of Rachel Zegler is going to be the most exciting thing about this movie when it's all said and done, so So yeah, the little Hollywood premiere and any reviews coming off the back of that color me a little bit skeptical if they're honest. So when does the Snow White review embargo lift? Disney's last-minute strategy raises flags for the Zegler film, where it's like, yeah, we've kind of seen this before, and every single time we see something similar like this happen, it's always a disaster, whether it's a film, whether it's a TV series, or it's a video game. Whenever it's moments before the big wide release, we kind of know the shit's cap. As the countdown to Disney's live-action Snow White remake continues, a new development signals just how shaky confidence is within the House of Mouse. It has now been confirmed that Snow White's review embargo will lift on March 19th at 3 p.m., 24 hours before the first public showings begin, a strategy commonly used when studio expects critical reception to be less than favorable. I mean, seen the exact same thing with Dragon Age of the Veilguard, Star Wars Outlaws. I thought the Acolyte was pretty well the exact same thing. The only one that I recall that ended up being in a different direction was Deadpool and Wolverine, when he started to have reviews for that coming in like a month or two beforehand. It's very interesting how this goes. The move is just the latest in a series of red flags surrounding a Snow White. But hey, going back to Variety film reporter Casey Stefan praised star Rachel Zegler as a shining supernova, adding that the film is a visual feast with show-stopping new musical numbers and, of course, dozens of enchanting animated animals. The screenplay wisely gives its heroine newfound depth through her fervent desire to become the leader her father believed she could be, and a love story that's as sweet as apple pie. Bro, I just went to Casey Stefan's Instagram account, and what's the first thing that you see right there pinned up at the top? Oh, for the cover of Variety's New York issue, I spoke with Rachel Zegler about Romeo and Juliet, Snow White, and dealing with the toxic hate train. And who just so happened to be at the premiere as well? Oh, Casey Stefan. Very interesting. So yeah, don't exactly, consider this to be an unbiased review. Okay, online critic Christopher Rates It wrote of the film, who's this? Snow White is not only one of the best live-action remakes in years. Again, what's the competition? But it's also a film that recaptures the magic of the 1937 movie. I doubt it. Okay, Rachel Zegler is Snow White. Well, that's factually true. And it will be in the context of whatever this cinematic abortion is going to be, but will she be able to stand the test of time like the original iconic princess? Which, God, the way that we just hear everything about this plot, okay, about how it's not going to be the fairest of them all, and fairest has now been redefined to be the most just and honest, how somebody who was named based on the color of their skin is now being named because of the type of precipitation that was going on outside. Sure is a damn shame that she wasn't born during a hailstorm, because as much of a clown show as this is, I think that, Disney's blustery winds would have been just so much better, because we know how much this film is going to blow. But in also following this train wreck over the past couple of years, we've also been privy to the other performances that Zegler has delivered, and not once has she been able to turn out anything even approaching a full-fledged character. She was in Shazam 2, nobody gives a shit. Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, oh yeah, a film that might have broken even, but that was in spite of Rachel. And how did Y2K do? Yeah, exactly. She has been ass in everything that she has ever been in. I don't know why Spielberg decided to make her a thing, but thanks again, pal. Filmhound's editor Paul Klein echoed the praise, with one caveat, writing that he may regret saying this, but Snow White is solid. I really enjoyed the musical numbers. Why would he regret saying this? Like, if this is supposed to be your honest opinion, are you trying to say something that's going to be interpreted as a plea for help? I might regret saying this, but I really enjoyed the musical numbers, particularly the opening one, and the Queen's Evil Bob Zegler is great in the lead role, and Gadot was fun. It's really the CGI dwarves that let the film down. The choice is baffling. I really regret saying this. I love it, but please, Disney, invite me back. Snow White is directed by Mark Webb, and why is it that nobody ever wants to point out that this screenplay, the script was written by Greta Gerwig, okay? The brilliant and the wonderful, visionary for the Barbie film. Why is her name not getting drug into this? Because she's going to be responsible for this atrocious dialogue that's going to be picked apart upon this film's disastrous release. And yeah, I'll look forward to the final projections that are likely to come out this week. But as it sits right now, oh boy, these reviews, these early reviews, and this interesting promotion that Disney's going with, I find it to be very hilarious. I find it to be very troubling, but I find it to be completely and totally on brand for this Snow White remake. It's going to be such a great week. I've been looking forward to this for a long time. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.